Hey, watch fam. Watch fam? Am I doing that? Sure. Today I'm going to talk about my watch journey from the first watch I can remember through all the time that I was discovering watches, learning more about them, testing out different types and seeing what I liked, until the last couple of years when I've really started getting more interested in the hobby. So the first watch that I remember having was a Casio. I remember a couple of details about it. I was like either 10 or 12 when I got it. It was a sports watch, digital, black rubber, had timing features. I think, I can't find it. I can't find it in, like, I have one picture where you can kind of see it. I think it was either a Casio JC11 or JP10, although I don't know how much those were originally, and I'm sure this was a cheap watch, probably from Kmart or something like that. So I had that watch when I was 10 or 12 years old. I wore the hell out of it. I used it on recess to time me and my friends. And then I got my first real watch. It was a metal watch. When I look back at the pictures of this, I know I got rid of it. I wish I had kept its poor beaten up carcass. And I did for several years, but I eventually got rid of it. I can see things about it that still are appealing in a watch to me. I'm 15 years old and I begged my mom to get me this watch. It was a Just Nikki watch. That was like a teen fashion catalog, like Delia's. I don't know if any of you guys will know what I'm talking about, but maybe some of the ladies watching will. And I remember going through the magazine and marking all these things, and then there was this watch, and I ripped it out and I gave it to my mom and I begged her. And I got that watch for Christmas that year. And I wore it, I think, for 3 years straight. I always had that watch on. And then I broke it, and you can see kind of the road rash situation on the picture. And then my next watch was a Fossil dive watch, also dive watch. It was gray, dive style on a bracelet, and I wore it all through college. I always had that one single watch on. And then one day the clasp broke, and it was about the same time, you know, that we all started carrying cell phones around everywhere. So I think I started using my cell phone as my watch clock. And then there was a gap. I can't find any pictures, and I don't really have any memories of what I wore between college and I'm guessing for like 5, 6, 7, 8 years. I don't know what watches I wore then. It was my early 20s. I know I was carrying a cell phone around all the time. I thought I had watches, but I can't find them. And then I got a Timex Weekender. I remember going to Walmart on my lunch break and being like, I want to watch again. And I got a Timex Weekender. Very much like this. Mine was the cream dial. And I wore this watch everywhere. I have pictures of me swimming in lakes with it. I wore it in the swimming pool. I wore it hiking. I wore it to the office. I wore it everywhere. And you can see this is like most of them. 30 meters of water resistance. And I wore it everywhere for, I think, 3 to 4 years before I got the next watch that I had. So this was my everyday watch. I had a couple, like 3 NATO straps that I wore it with. And, yeah, constant companion. So that was my first back into it adult watch. I wanted a bunch of different straps so I could change the look of it or whatever. But I started where a lot of us start. Timex Weekender. The next watch that I can remember buying is a Skagen dress watch. And I think I probably wanted to be like a little more grown up. I was starting to dress a little better. My style was changing a little bit. And so I got Skagen dress watch, 2013. And from there I started, I think maybe once a year, I would buy a new watch. I got like $10 Casio that was mentioned on a men's blog that I liked. I wore that some, not very much. And then I got the Timex Highland Street watch. What the hell is a Highland Street? Highlands makes me think of Braveheart. street watch makes me think of Yakuza. I don't know. I don't know how that all works together, but I love this Timex. Blacked out, the skeleton hands. That was fantastic. That was 2015. And then in 2016, I got the Casio Duro Classic Black. Man, I wore this watch everywhere for like 5 years. I went legit snorkeling with this watch in Hawaii. And for me, this watch did everything. I could put it on a black leather NATO and it looked pretty damn nice in the office. And I could put it on a NATO strap, nylon NATO, and it was, I think I have about 50 NATO straps. I just kept buying more NATO straps instead of more watches because I felt like I could change how the watch looked if I had a different NATO on it. And you can see it's a little beat up. She ran for a long time. I wore this watch as my main watch for 5 years. And I loved it. I didn't look at specs or anything. I just wanted a nice, classic, kind of sporty watch that I could wear hiking and swimming and never even think about it. And that was this. I wore it literally everywhere. And everyone knows everything about this watch. Actually, I was looking at these again today because, you know, it's a great watch. And I was looking at them again today. It's $50, $53, I think, on Amazon. And I was like, should I get another one? Should I try the Pepsi Dial one? Maybe. I don't know. This was a great companion. I've kept it in my graveyard box. Okay, then I started adventuring just a little bit. Then I had to get this guy. And I've got to tell you, I get more compliments and comments on this watch more than any other watch. Every person born between 1970 and 1990 is like, that watch is great. What is that watch? And they grab my wrist and they want to look at it. My nieces and nephews love this watch because of the way it lights up and stuff. Just another complete classic. I have that I bought this in 2017 and I've never done any servicing or anything to it. It's still ticking away. So that was a great one. Next, the same year, later that year in 2017, my old friend, the Timex Expedition Field Chronograph. And you guys know that I love this watch. I'm crazy about it. And again, just kind of the light colored numerals on the dark dial. This was like my beefier watch. It didn't really fit under my shirt cuffs very good at the office, but I wore it anyway. It came on a really nice leather strap. Like surprisingly good leather for a $50 watch. And I just wore it on that one strap all the time until the keeper broke on the strap, and then I switched it over to this. But that came next. And then in 2019, with my holiday bonus, I wanted to replace my Skagen and get myself a legitimate dress watch. I worked in a law firm and meeting with clients all the time, and I wanted like a nice, flashy dress watch for the office. You know what I'm gonna say, right? The Bambino, of course. I went with this. I wore brown shoes a lot, and so I wanted a brown dress watch. And this was everything. I felt so freaking cool when I went to work with this watch on. It's just like a little bit flashy, but like subtle too. It has this terrible leather fake alligator scrap thing. I think it says it's genuine leather. All right, it's a little plasticky. That's fine. I wore this all the time. And the only thing I didn't like about this is I couldn't time things. Like all of my other watches had timers on them. And in a law firm, you keep billable hours. So every time I was starting a task, I would start my timer either on my dive bezel or on my my Casio digital, I would just hit the timer. My chronograph was great for timing. This didn't time, which was annoying, but it was my nice watch. Then I got to a place where I wanted another cool dive watch. And you know, I still don't know anything about watches. I just bought watches that I liked, which maybe is a good thing to remember. But enter the Invicta Pro Diver. What I loved about this is it kind of made me feel like Tony Soprano-ish with a gold watch. And people made a lot of comments about this watch. This was a flashy watch. I would wear this to the pool. Sometimes I would wear it to work, and people would always be like, what are you wearing? Someone asked me if I was wearing a Rolex. Yeah, right. That's the biggest compliment an Invicta's ever had. But this had some cool details, and I loved it. It made me, every time I wore this watch, it was like I wanted the rest of my outfit to look nice. You know, like it made me feel a little fancy. I don't love the Cyclops. It's got it on there. This one has like a little bitty shark, and it's got some wave detail around the dial. But yeah, just a chonky, solid dive watch. I don't ever wear this now. But I thought about it. The other day I thought I should wear that watch to the pool this summer. We'll see. All right, then I wanted a field watch. So I got a Timex MK1. I wasn't really sure if I wanted it. It was the right size, I thought. I was excited. It was aluminum, and honestly, I literally couldn't even tell that I was wearing it. I hated it because it was so light on my wrist. I felt like I was wearing just the NATO strap that it came on, and the dial was too busy for me. I didn't like it. I ended up giving that one to my nephew. But in the same vein, I knew I wanted a blue watch that was kind of that style, like field outdoorsy, and wasn't my chunky Invicta Pro Diver. So this is like the middle end of 2021. I got this Timex Navi timer, and it's great. It's got some cool details. I love that the military time shows up inside the circle of the hour hand. It's a pretty clean dial. I like the indices. It's got a nice, I mean, the bezel won't turn anymore. I don't know if it was ever really great. And it's, I don't wear it very much, but I see Navis and I'm like, all right, yeah, they're nice looking, but I never end up pulling it out. So that one will probably at some point make way for the next thing. And then this is where everything changed. December 2021, I get my yearly bonus. I always spend it on watches. Watches and outdoor gear, like hiking bags that I don't use enough, or bikes and stuff. But watches. So 2021, I decide I'm getting a nice watch. Like the first watch I've ever bought that was more than $120, I think. And I got an Orient Ray too. I wanted something to replace my Duro that had died. And I wanted an automatic. And I just wanted it to be clean and classic. I didn't want anything flashy. I didn't want to baby it. I just wanted something beautiful and simple and straightforward. And this watch is all those things, as you know. It's great. I love how simple the dial is and how clean it is. I've beat the hell out of this watch, and right now it's my strap watch. I don't have it on a band, and I just use the 50 straps that I got for my Timex Weekender and change this watch out. I don't wear this watch a ton because after 2021 is kind of when my real interest in the hobby took off. And so I have some other watches that ended up taking a lot of wrist time. This is kind of where I went from being like a one watch type of person. Like I had a bunch of watches, but I only wore like a couple of them. A bunch of them had died, whatever. I had a handful. And then when I got this watch, I wore this all the time. For like a year and a half is pretty much the only watch that I wore. And then for my birthday in 2022, my wife got me this watch. This is the Mr. Jones watches, Perfectly Useless Afternoon. The idea behind this watch is that the best days are the days that we don't really need to tell time. The days where we have leisure and we're not waiting for the next thing to happen, where we can just kick back with a book in the pool and not care what time it is. I love this watch. This one's the first engraved watch that I've ever received. And so that was pretty cool. I love the mesh bracelet on this. I've never had anything like that before. I love this watch. It's one of my favorites, and I only wear it during the summer. It keeps it kind of special, and I can never wait until it's time to pull it back out. Okay, this next watch is the first watch that I almost cried when I thought I didn't get it. I know that sounds friggin' silly, but I really, really wanted this watch, and I was going to buy it the next month when I got paid again. And when I went on Dan Henry's website to buy it, it said it was sold out. And I was legitimately like heartbroken. God, I wanted this watch. And I was like, no, oh my God, I was so sad. And then I realized I was on the either England or the UK, maybe the UK or the European website. And when I switched back to the US website, it was available and I bought it immediately. And this watch, of course, is kind of an homage to the Porsche design watch that Tom Cruise wore in Top Gun. And I actually like this better because of the custard colored hands. Like, they're yellow. And this watch has an alarm on it, which I kind of love. I don't use it a real ton, but I really love it because I can take this watch traveling, and it's a nice, quiet little alarm on my wrist. This one, of course, has the motorcycle engraving on the back. Like, Dan Henry's great about doing cool things like that. I just loved this blacked out PVD bracelet and case, and I don't know, everything about this watch. This was my first chronograph, I guess, that was not the Expedition field chronograph from Timex. So yeah, that felt like a special watch to me. That was the first watch that I ever spent more than $250 on, I guess. Still a favorite. Love wearing it. Okay, so after that, I went in a completely different direction, and I got a Casio. This is like light blue is what the website says, but it's kind of lavendery. I love purple. And I was surprised at how much I liked this watch. Like, I had just gotten more into like nice watches that felt like you had some heft to them and things like that. And this, of course, is plasticky and rubbery, and I was a little smitten by it, like lots of us are. And I end up wearing this a lot. I like not having to think about setting the time, and obviously they're indestructible, so it's fantastic to be able to wear that. Okay, the next watch that I got was my first Seiko, and this is a surprising Seiko, but I wanted a black dress watch because I had started wearing more gray and black, and it didn't go with my brown, and I wanted something fancy. So I got this Seiko. This is the SNK L23, and it came on a jangly ass strap bracelet thing. And I got this nice leather strap to put on it. And it completely changed the look of the watch. It went from being like kind of an everyday-ish watch I think it looks really sharp with the black. Exhibition case back, I don't care about that at all. I like that the crown is almost recessed, and I like that it's super thin and felt like it would fit under my dress shirts really nice. And it's just sharp. Like, it just looks like a sharp, nice, it's smaller size, so it's a little fancier. All right. Then that was the end of 2022. 2023 was like a year I bought a lot of watches. And I kind of started dabbling in some areas that were like new to me, different to me. During the summer of 2022, I had been looking at and wanting to get a yellow dial diver. The Doxa, of course, turned me on to that at first. But I did a bunch of looking around, and I actually ended up with this Spinnaker Bodger. I love this watch. I wear it during the winter on the chunky bracelet that it came on, because it's just like a little shot of happy sunshine on my wrist down there. I love it. And then I'm sure you've seen this before. The indices on this are floating, and this watch just has like heft. Like, I put this on and I can feel it, and I love that. I love a chunky watch, and I guess, you know, if we think back to my teenage watch, my Just Nikki watch, even that watch was kind of chunky. So I love this watch. I like the crown at 4 o'clock. I love the way the light plays on it. The hands are quirky on it. I like the black bezel. Like, everything about this watch checked every box for me. It also came with like a interchangeable, really nice rubber strap that I changed onto in the summer. And I wear this a lot in the summer. I wear it especially to the pool, which we go to almost every day. So that watch felt like something changed when I got this watch. The Dan Henry was kind of a turning point. Like, all of these are starting to progressively, like, I'm seeing more things, right? Like, I'm starting to learn some things that I like. I'm starting to learn to like dig down to find options of the specific thing that I like, instead of just trying to get the cheapest version of whatever it is that I like. And the Bodger was a big piece of that. This next watch, though, was it's like a no going back watch, I think. So this is the Seiko Golden Turtle. This is the SRP C44. And if I had just looked at the specs on this watch, I would be like, I'm not wearing that watch. It's too big, too chunky, whatever. Again, the heft on this watch, like, I love it. This watch feels substantial. You put this thing on, but it's also super comfortable because of the cushion case. And I got this watch and I was showing it to my brother-in-law, who's also a little bit of like a watch nerd. And we were like playing with the bezel, and he was like, oh man, the action on that is like, it's different. You can tell it's different. This is a different game we're playing now. I love this watch. I love wearing it. I kind of hate the keeper, drives me nuts. But the strap's real nice leather. I was thinking about maybe getting a different strap for it, just because I can't stand the keeper and I don't like the clasp. But yeah, this watch is maybe one of my favorites. Do we have a favorite? I don't know. Top three right now, maybe. All right. Then I kind of went down a weird 70s-ish rabbit hole at the end of 2023, and I got this Seiko Recraft. I love the way the light hits this dial, and the indices are gold, and they're kind of that, like, I don't know, the white markers around the 12, the 3, the 6, and the 9, and that orange hand. I don't know. This is really striking. It's also big and chunky. It's got this square case. It's really comfortable. Huge strap. It's like a 24mm strap. And I just wanted this to be my holiday watch. This is the Seiko Recraft SNK M97. And it wasn't expensive. It was like $130 $30 or something like that. But it felt like celebration-y-ish. And I kind of wanted that again last year. I just wanted something that felt kind of fancy, and I don't like that there's not really loom. So I don't end up wearing it a ton, but, it's more of like a fall, wintry watch to me, but I really like it. It's fancy and not fancy at the same time. I'm getting really eloquent here. Okay. Next, I got the Timex Q reissue. The quartz version, not the GMT. I don't have any GMT watches. That's probably happening sometime this year. I think one of the things, I really wanted this watch because I wanted to play around with a Pepsi bezel and see if I liked that at all. And this was like an easy way to check that out. When everyone on the internet tells you the strap on a watch rips your hair out and sucks, you should listen to them. I never wear this because it's uncomfortable. But I like the case, and I like the custardy hands, or the indices again. And I love a date on a watch. If a watch doesn't have a date, it kind of drives me insane. So I think I'm going to get a new bracelet for this. We'll see. I'd like to wear it more because I like the way that it looks, and I think it's just kind of like a happy little watch. Okay, and then at the end of the year last year, I seem to always buy watches in December. I got this Veer S5 Whitefield watch. Their website says, what's the best watch you can make for under 200 bucks? This is it. And I would agree with them, actually. This watch is fantastic. It's super comfortable. It's really versatile. I feel like this is like a really way better version of the Timex Weekender. Like, look at the dials together. They have so many similarities. Just like a nice clean field watch, whatever. Again, I like yellowed out hands. I don't know why. I just love custardy hands. And the syringe style is great. Everything about the dial on this watch is pretty clean. I like that they sent it to me with 2 straps. So it came on this real nice rubber strap. But then they also sent like a tan colored nylon strap to put it on too. And that changes the entire look of it, and it's really nice. I felt like I was getting like 2 watches in one. Okay. Last, I ended the year with one of my like affordable Grail watches. And this is the Christopher Ward C65 Dune Automatic. I love this watch. It's a field watch, but it's like a really nice field watch. It's got great polishing all over it. I love the story behind it, the sand-colored dune. I bought this watch and didn't take it off for 2 weeks. I took it off to shower. I wore it to bed. I wore it everywhere. And it's like the watch, I love this watch. I feel like I can wear it anywhere. It looks really nice on a nicer strap. It looks a little bit rugged on this leather strap they sent it with. It's been picking up oils and stuff. And it just felt like, it felt like a watch that I had been waiting for like 5 years to buy. And yeah, it's fantastic. That's the end of my kind of watch journey right now. I feel like I'm still learning a lot of things, exploring a lot of things, and I love that part. I love the journey of it. I love trying things and making mistakes and being like, I don't really like that one, I guess. And then every watch that I get more little details. I find out more little things about it that I really love or I don't love, so that the next watch that I get is a little more closer to like my perfect watch. And as my life changes, I don't go to the office anymore, so I don't need fancy, nice watches for the office. So I find myself kind of leaning back towards a lot of slightly more rugged or a little more utilitarian watches. But the journey of it is what I've loved, and I can't wait to see what happens this year, what happens next year, what watches come into my life, and what I end up learning about the hobby. I'd love to know your first watch and the last watch you bought, and what I can imagine what story happened in between there. But I'd love to hear that from you. Thanks very much for sharing my watch journey with me. I'll catch you guys next time.